Game one was an epic, which will go right to ESPN Classic. There were 34 ties, 14 lead changes. Neither team led by more than 2 points. But in the end, it was BYU behind Jonathan Alleman. The putaways, a bad call, didn't affect the Cougars. They finally lined up their block. And on the final play of the game, put the roof on the right side. Crowd still buzzing, 44-42, Heather Cox.
And I think the difference in game one was the play of the middle attackers. For BYU, their middle attack exceeded Lewis. You look at the kills, BYU had more offense with 21. Other than that, the statistics very similar. I think the defense was in the middle of the court, or the difference in the middle of the court. Lewis's middles had just 1 kill. BYU's had 8, including that huge block to end game one.
Rafael Paul, 8 kills, 286. If I'm BYU coach Tom Peterson, I'm feeling very good about my team right now. 12 hitting errors, and yet they won game one. I've got to be a little worried if I'm Lewis.
Well, they had big points at big moments. Yep. Their block was non-existent in the first part of game one, but after we got to about 28 points, BYU's defense started to gel. Carlos Moreno established the middle. Those 26 kills, 8 of them out of the middle. For Lewis, just 1 kill out of the middle. That area of the court is hitting negative. More errors than kills.
BYU has never lost a game one in the NCAA Finals. They are 7-0, 5-0 in tournament play with 2 national championships. And Rafael Paul will serve. The teams have switched sides. Nice dig by Paul. Moreno left side, over the top, Mile. Game one winner, 23 of 33. As I said, 69-70%, 12 of the last 14. So not a great omen for Dave Doiser, but teams have done it. We've seen them, Heather.
It can be done, but volleyball is just such a game of momentum, especially for a young team that's never been here before. Lewis needs to get on a quick start early, and I'm a little bit worried about Jeff Soler. He's looking deflated. He made some key mistakes in the end of game one. It is not playing defense or passing very well. He's got to have an impact on the court.
2-1, and Gorney goes over the top. So Chris Gorney, I think Lewis, one thing they're going to have to do is set the middles more. When Martins is all the time outside, I know you've talked about this, Heather, but it's good to emphasize it. The middle, the quick hitters, Miller and Elsie.
They've totally ineffective.
Yes,
They've
exactly.
combined for just 1 kill. They're hitting negative. They've got to pass a little bit better, and Martins has to have the confidence in them.
There's one right there, as Elsie gets the kill. Elsie hit 487 on the year. Miller hit 466, so you want to get the big boys some meat.
Yeah, they can get it done, but they just have made too many errors, and again, it's the ball control issue. BYU serving very tough, making it hard to pass.
2-2 is our score. Gustavo Mayer serving. I'll tell you, Fernando Pessoa has not missed a pass. Nice dig by Stunts. And the put away on the right side. Now, I think one of the differences, too, between the semifinals, Lewis dug a lot of the hits off of Pepperdine, but BYU hitting the ball too hard to dig. You got to intersperse some blocks.
Well, and the block is so important there, too, because it takes away a certain area of the court. If your defense is in position, makes it a lot easier to dig. And yes, they did outdig Pepperdine in that win, and so far they're being outdug by Brigham Young.
That's the 9th service error for Lewis, just 1 ace. BYU, a couple of aces and 8 service errors, but BYU has been serving some hard balls that aren't classified as aces. And Elsie gets another one down. Good assist by J.R. Martins.
And a nice adjustment by Dave Doiser and the Lewis coaching staff to establish the middle more in the second game. Clearly, you can tell it was emphasized during the break.
Keep going there until they block it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go to your bread and butter and tell.
Elsie drops one in. Burke goes and gets it. Mile over the top. In transition. And no touch detected. BYU gets the point.
And I think that Lewis is perhaps relying on Barreto a little bit too much. I think went to the well one time too often late in game one. Got blocked for game point. I think they've got to continue to mix it up. Otherwise, BYU's block is just camping out on him.
4-4 here in game two. Nice block by Rafael Paul. So they're starting to get out on that line.
Every single time they're really committing and knowing that Martins is going to Fabiano Barreto as much as he can. He's got to continue to mix it up.
Mile Ball serving again, 5-4. Into the quick, yes. And Kevin Miller gets the kill. He comes from Racine, Wisconsin. You might remember that if you're a volleyball fan, the hometown of Tom Sorensen, the Pepperdine great who led the Waves to the national championship back in '92. 5-5. Moreno and Burke punching one through. The Miller family is here, and there is Mr. Miller.
That's his dad, Mark, and a lot of the players making the trip, a lot of the players' families. There's Kevin's girlfriend as well.
She's got the Miller time signed. And there's the punch. Has she got it up? There you go. Oh, yeah.
Don't forget Kevin Miller playing with that sprained ankle, went down late in the semifinal win against Pepperdine. He's playing still very sore.
Okay, it pays off to be a top-notch volleyball player, doesn't it, Heather Cox? Ball put away. And BYU. If I'm Lewis, I'm not serving the guy in blue, Pessoa.
Pessoa, I think, is probably the best true passer I have seen all season. Has a beautiful platform. The key to passing, get your platform out early, get behind the ball, keep your arms in between your body. You can't reach out, and that's exactly what Pessoa does.
Carlos Moreno serving. He had the big ace that set up the win, and he jump floats out of bounds. 7-7 game 2. Elsie back into the front line. Good look at Tom Peterson, a BYU alumnus. Played for Carl McGowan long time ago. And back into the bottom of the net.
Boy, that's 3 service errors now for Miller.
The NCAA Men's Volleyball Championship here at the Pyramid. Chris Marlowe along with Heather Cox. BYU, the favorite in this one, the #1 team in the nation, the #1 seeded team, Lewis University, here for just the 3rd time. Lewis, a Division II school in every other sport, but because they don't have Division II men's volleyball championship, they're allowed to move up to Division I and play for the title. And really a Cinderella story.
Truly, as this is a young program. Dave Joyce, the only coach that is known. It's only been around for 10 years and just tremendous success in a short period of time. Actually, 2 very young programs, BYU.
Yep.
Program started in the early 90s as well.
But 2 very experienced teams. A lot of seniors, a lot of kids that have been on missions, and a lot of players that were born outside the United States that have international experience. You can't really call them young teams. A couple of young players. And the put away from Gorney. For the Cougars, they have won 2 championships in the odd years. And of course, in 2001, they won right here on this floor, beating UCLA. And now Tom Peterson trying to give BYU a jump start on a dynasty. If you get 3 out of 5 championships, are you starting a dynasty?
Give them the title. You're starting it. Certainly not close to UCLA's 18, but hey, baby steps.
9-8. Now 9-9 with that point. Mayer has 10 kills, and set to serve is Gustavo Mayer. A business administration major, very bright, English solid, top student. And a smart server. He goes after Pessoa, back set. Elsie will set. That's got to be 4, isn't it? No, tip off the hands. Got it.
That's a great fake by Martin. He's a front row player, so he could attack the ball, but as a setter, when he jumps, watch him jump right here. He looks like he's going to attack. He holds Burke in the middle, opening up Fabiano on the right side.
10-9 Lewis back on top now, 10-10. So the team in white, the BYU Cougars, with the serve. Once again, it's rally scoring or point per play. A departure from years ago, the old side-out scoring. So if you miss a serve, now historically the serving should get a little bit weaker as the match draws on because you get a little more fatigued. Do you agree with that?
Especially with the jump serving. When you're jump serving so long in a long match, your legs do get fatigued. Additionally, it's just harder to serve in national championship matches.
Paul shanks one. Martin's got it up. Moreno back set. Mayall tip. Nice up. Miller will set. And a 3-man block. Still the put away for Barreto. A junior who probably should have made All-American, Heather, but didn't.
And watch this three-man block. That is a white wall, 3 people up, but what Barreto does is he hits high hands. He waits and hits late.
Burke goes and gets it. BYU shanking a little bit here. Free ball to Lewis, into the middle, and Miller puts it away.
That's exactly what this Lewis team needs. They continue to go to both James Elsey and Kevin Miller in the middle, and they're finding success because BYU is not committing on its middle so far, just leaving them one-on-one read blocking until the middles start to kill the BYU block.
13-10 now as Lewis, and loosening up in the bullpen. Senior from Slovenia, Luka Slabe, here he comes. Now watch how the crowd just comes alive whenever Luka does anything. If you're Lewis, you want to stuff this guy. You got to shut him up right away before he can start running around on you. 13-10 when Slabe comes in. Great pass. Slabe trouble, and he's into the antenna. What a serve. I tell you what, Lewis is stepping up at serving, or BYU is passing not so good.
No, I think it's got a little bit more velocity. Lewis looking much more comfortable. They've gotten into the flow of the match. They're setting the tempo.
James Elsey, the junior from Clovis, California.
He foot-faulted.
Cross court, Pessoa right there, Alleman. And Alleman, a little off-speed guide shot. Thought there was a foot fault on that last one, Heather?
I think there was a foot fault.
14-11 now.
At no time when you're serving can you take off in front of the service line. You can land in front of it, you just have to take off behind it.
Slabe, ready to rip. Good serve. Martins goes and gets it. And the spike off the block. Now I know Barreto gets the spike, but Martins is so calm and so collected when he runs over and puts up a beautiful set, Heather.
A perfect bump set, getting his hitter into a good situation off of a poor pass. That's a sign of a good setter, bettering that second ball.
15-11. Lewis on top. The battle for the national championship continuing here in Long Beach, California. BYU won game 1, Lewis ahead here in game 2. BYU wins game 1, Lewis leading here in game 2. NHRA Racing is coming your way from the Atlanta Dragway. The Summit Racing Equipment Southern Nationals, John Force. Can he win again? He's been struggling, but Atlanta, he says, is his favorite track. You can catch it all starting tonight, qualifying 9:30 Eastern right here on ESPN2. Along with former Pacific star Heather Cox, I'm Chris Marlowe. Luka Slabe is in. BYU winning a classic game 1, 44-42, but Lewis turning things around here in game 2, forcing BYU to at least substitute. And Slabe shanks it. Paul has got it. Free ball. Lewis. And the jam at the net. And Martins shoves down Moreno.
And you have to give J.R. Martins a ton of credit for the turnaround with Lewis in this game, too. He's really rallied his troops, gotten them together. He's been a very vocal leader, and he's setting some incredible balls. What he's doing is he's finding the hot hitters and finding the open net.
Alleman, nice dig. Barreto got it out of the back line, and Mayer puts it away.
And we talked about Jose Martins and his leadership. Well, during Christmas break, he gave himself his own haircut. He actually put a pyramid into the back of his head. That was way back in December. He's kept that cut coiffed throughout the entire season, all in an effort to get where he is right now.
Lucky we weren't playing at the Coliseum or somewhere, Heather. That would have been a tough cut.
It'd be pretty intricate.
17-11. Rafael Paul over the top. Lewis has momentum. Martins sets left, and another put away. Jeff Soler with the drive. And the Lewis Flyers, the Aeronautics School from Romeoville, Illinois, a city of about 15,000 southwest of Chicago, has the lead. So the Flyers on an 8-1 scoring run here in game 2. A view of the interior of the pyramid, the home of the Long Beach State 49ers, national championships in men's and women's collegiate volleyball. 44-42 in game 1. Lewis winning here in game 2, 18-11. Bob Krimmel, the chair of the NCAA committee from Penn State University, and we want to thank him for a job well done, a perfectly planned NCAA championship, tremendous cooperation from the entire committee. And we're seeing some tremendous volleyball, at least we were in game 1. Now BYU is kind of gotten off kilter a little bit. Poor passing will do that to you. And Lewis has a lot of confidence.
Now on the flip side, Lewis's passing is much improved here in game 2, and it's reflected in its offensive numbers, hitting .571 as a team, 14 kills, just 2 errors. Improved play by Miller and LC in the middle, as well as Solar on the outside.
Slabe going to get it is Lewis. Martins, oh, what a set. And a big hit for Kevin Miller. You know, they say Miller jumps 11-9. He's got some hops to him.
And because of that, he loves a high set. So watch how high that 31 is. Typically, that goes right along the top of the tape. But for somebody with a reach like Miller, you've got to set it about 5 feet above the net.
Biggest lead, 8 points. Paul is rejected. So Lewis University starting to get the hang of Rafael Paul.
And BYU's offense has become a little bit more predictable. You can tell because Lewis getting 2 solid blockers up, forehands penetrating and pushing over the net.
We mentioned that Kevin Miller is an outstanding leaper. He can touch 11 feet 9 inches, but he's also a very talented graphic arts producer, and he put together the Lewis University media guide, did all the designing, put together the photos, laid out the art. What else did they do, Heather?
It's pretty impressive. I'm not sure I've ever known a student athlete to be involved in the production of a media guide, but he was also the one that chose to dedicate and to put it on the back of the media guide, the dedication to James Dozier, who is, of course, Dave Dozier's father.
I don't remember when I was playing anybody that bright to do anything like that. You know, maybe at Pacific they had some people.
Things have changed these days, Chris.
Student athletes.
Here's a look at Mark Miller, Kevin's dad. Certainly, he's got to be extremely proud of what he's seen today.
Happier than he was in the semifinal when Kevin Miller only hit .071. Got a big smile on his face now because his boy is cranking the 31 set.
Yeah, right now 5 kills, just 1 error, 7 attacks. That means he's hitting .571 so far in this match, and they need to just continue to go to him. If he runs that quick set, BYU's block cannot beat him to the ball.
Look at that. Tickets, room, playing in the national championship. Priceless. I tell you what, this Kevin Miller has it all together. He's got a bright, good-looking girlfriend. He touches 11-9 and it can hit the snot out of a quick set. And it's an ace. Wow. 22-12. It's a wipeout. Obviously, BYU with a huge letdown here in game 2, Heather.
Great high toss. The Lewis players told me the higher the toss, the more velocity.
That service ace costs a point. Now, let's see if BYU. Now, BYU known for its depth, Heather. They have the deepest team in college volleyball. Plenty of players to rotate in and out. You see the service story.
And BYU certainly not with the percentage it had in the semis when it had 16 aces and just 19 errors. But this is their strongest point-scoring rotation with Moreno serving.
Big serve, set left. Slabe with a dig. Moreno back sets to Alleman, and Alleman kills it.
Well, that's a great set by Moreno, recognizing that Rafael Paul was not available on the outside and instead setting Alleman on the back. You can see Paul right there and nowhere in hitting position, so instead relies on that right side attack.
Sometimes a rally can begin with a play like that. A dig, a set, a kill. 22-14 now. Coming over the net. Slabe will bump. Rafael Paul takes a rip and puts it away. So Slabe starting to dance a little bit. BYU gets 2 in a row. 15, BYU with... And Dave Dozier going to take the first of 2 timeouts.
The 2003 Women's Volleyball Regionals will be hosted here at the Long Beach State Pyramid
Heather Cox yesterday donned her skivvies, folks, and went out on the court. And she put this report together with Carlos Moreno.
For many, the excitement of volleyball is all about the blocking and the hitting. But what many don't realize is none of that would be possible without the setter. He is truly the quarterback of the team. And believe it or not, he's calling plays before every single serve. So I'm going to go one-on-one with BYU's All-American setter, Carlos Moreno, and get an inside look at the way he calls his offense. All right, Carlos, can you give us a little insight? What does it mean when you're calling those blocking signals before each serve?
Well, it's a secret, but...
You're going to have to kill me after this?
Yeah.
All right.
When I go like this with my hands, I go fast, outside sets to the outside heaters. When I go with numbers, at a middle block sets. When I go 4, 2s, 3s, and 5, middle block sets. When I go with my finger like that, like D and 5 and A, it's back row attacks.
All right, we'll see if we can do some of these sets for you.
Okay.
All right.
I'm calling crease my middle block on a 2, a fast 2 in the middle. I'm calling Jaime on a set inside, a combo play. He's coming around behind the middle blocker.
Oh, yeah. Woo-hoo! How about those Cougars? Thanks, Carlos.
Thank you. Nice play, guys.
Good job, Heather Cox. You know, they ran that play earlier. I knew the piece was coming. The 3 to the inside 2, and it worked great to Rafael Paul. He got a kill with nobody up.
Great deception. Moreno already with 32 assists. The team's got 34 kills in this match. 22-15.
Martins goes left side. Nice kick by Paul. Can he put it away? Rafael Paul. He gets it. Rafael with the drive.
And once again, Moreno making a set that very few could make. Watch him go to the ground in order to deliver this ball. Most players would have to bump set. Instead, Carlos uses his hands, and that is a perfect delivery right into the seam of the block.
A 4-0 scoring run for the Cougs. Boy, Moreno has a wicked serve. Stuns, bad pass, out of bounds. That's an ace. So the Cougars, who were down by 10 at one point, close to within 5.
And they're doing it behind their All-American. Carlos Moreno with his second ace. Gets a nice high toss. It's a lot like a spiking motion. You want to get a lot of torque with your torso. Get that power, get that top spin.
Moreno's torquey torso is working wonders here. Down by 5 now. That's a good one, too. Get the ball back, freebie. Moreno, quick set. Martin sets left, and Mayer sneaks it through. Whoa. A break for Lewis that Gorney did not connect on that back quick set.
It really gave Lewis a free ball opportunity to run its offense.
Checking in is the serving specialist, Jose Castellano. They think he will be a libero one day, but I don't know where is he ever going to play with Ryan Stuntz there. Down the line, Rafael Paul gets the drill. Now Paul will go back to serve. Now interestingly, Paul on the year had 42 aces, but he had 104 service errors. So this guy could be terminal one way or the other.
He is definitely hot or cold. No lukewarm for him.
Rips it. Lewis having troubles now. Lewis shoots it out of bounds.
You know, Dave Deutscher told me that if we aren't passing, we can get in a world of hurt. You will see us struggle. Our entire game is dependent on our offensive system, and in order to do that, we've got to pass.
Lewis in trouble right now. They're shanking the ball all over the place. Some of the passes that aren't aces are still being converted for points. 23-19, Elsey got it on the line. James Elsey. And another good set by Jose Martins. If you're wondering, Martins looks like a veteran. He is. He's 27 years old. One of the advantages of being a Division II school, there is no eligibility clock. There is no age limit for your players. So you could be over 25, and Martins is. Martins with a dig. Katie veteran and double contact. Good call. They call it on Mayer. Gustavo Mayer with the toss. 24-20. Now Chris Gorney, if you're wondering, just off that last tidbit, Lewis, the only team that has that advantage of the over 25 players. A Division II caveat. Over the top. Off ahead.
Gotta go.
And it does. It goes out of bounds. And you feel the momentum has shifted to BYU, all because of the serving of Carlos Moreno. 24-21 now. If you're a Flyer fan, you got to be nervous about your serve receive.
And you've got to have a pass, and this is not a strong serve receive. Solar, Stunts, and Mayer. I think Mayer's the best passer out of the three.
Ace! A 10-2 scoring run for the Cougars. And doing it with serving. How important is that jump serve? Yes, if you do it well, you get some aces. $16 in the semi against Penn State. 4 of them in this one. So Carlos Moreno, the sophomore from Sao Paulo, Brazil, he is spectacular. Listen to what Tom Peterson, his coach, thinks about it.
Yeah, I don't know anyone better. Even earlier in the season, we would say, and I'd like to compliment him as much as possible, hey, you were the better setter tonight. You were the better setter tonight. I would say that over and over. And then we'd get into some strategy for the next match. But yeah, very seldom did we ever get outset because it was our setter for sure.
You know, Heather, he made second team All-America. He is the best setter in the country, and there's only one thing you can say about him not being selected. He got jobbed. He got robbed. He should have been on that first team, and why he didn't get on the first team. There was only one setter listed on the first team from the University of Pacific, Chris Thomas, who's an outstanding player, but that man should have been on the first team.
And with the amount of people that they named to the first team, I think that you can have 2 setters. Certainly Carlos Moreno, incredibly deserving. As we mentioned, his dad, a 4-time Olympian with the Brazilian national team, and he grew up with it. He said, I not only had a father growing up, I had a coach 24/7.
How about that? 2 coaches. 2 coaches for him.
2 coaches in one.
24-22. Can BYU keep it going? Lewis shanking the ball all over the place. Nice spike there.
And a nice use of the timeout, Chris, as well, because Dave Georgia said, hey, we have to get back to what got us here, and that's a quick offense. That time you saw the shoot set go outside very quickly to Barreto.
Lewis led at one point in this game 22-12. Then the 10-2 run, and Burke hits it into the bottom of the net. So maybe BYU, after a great run, deflated. They started off bad, played well in the middle with the big serving, and the Lewis Flyers have their verve back. 26-22. Games are to 30. Oh, and there's an ace right back at you. A Mexican eater off the bat of Gustavo Mayer. Grew up idolizing Ivan Contreras, the great Mexican who played for Penn State.
And it's no surprise that you're seeing such heaters off the international players. They really pride themselves on high-velocity jump serves.
Slave over the top. Hasn't had as much influence in this particular game. Pessoa pops it up. 27-22. Luka's got to keep it in. Stunts, perfect pass. Back set. Tip. And one of the Lewis players touched the net. Boy, one-on-one against Slave and a tip. Barreto, let's see if he gets it.
Off of a perfect set, goes for the tip. That's so deceptive, and that's a great call. At no time can you go into the net until the ball hits the floor.
Good call by Stankaitis. 27-23. And a slam dunk by Michael Burke. He played a year at Grossmont College under one of my pals, Freddie Featherstone, as a youngster, 6'8" sophomore, and then went on a religious mission. Came back, and now he's an outstanding player. 27-24. And over the top and down, Jeff Solar.
And that's huge. Jeff Solar, I've said it early, he is the X factor. He is the one that has to have an exceptional match. I don't think he can play poorly, and Lewis can win.
Both teams are out of timeouts. Solar coming out of Florida. Yes, indoor volleyball blossoming around the country from all areas. 28-24 our score. And Solomon, who didn't get a chance once again to play in the final in 2001. He had to sit on the bench with a sprained ankle and watch his partner, Lucas Slabe. Look what he's doing here. 375, not bad.
Yeah, he told me yesterday that, hey, I got the ring, but I didn't get to play when we won in 2001. I want to rewrite my memory book today.
So Lewis has game point. They'll have 4 game points here. Barrientos serving. Slabe, perfect pass, and Burke lowers the boom.
Somebody's got to block. Lewis, if you're watching, you've got to have all of your hitters. You've got to watch Burke. There's no way you can let him go without a blocker up.
Lewis had 6 game points in game 1 and could not put it away. And now BYU will insert sophomore Casey Patterson, the pride of Newbury Park. Good serve, good pass for the win. No, Slabe. Slabe says, set me. Instead, they go to Paul. Paul is blocked. Slabe says, set me. Instead, they go to Paul. And he puts it away. Rafael Paul. 29-27. BYU, great comeback ability. The Coneheads for the Cougs saying we can do it again. 3rd game point for Lewis. All they have to do is sock one down to the floor. Patterson, no, and it's over. So BYU made its comeback with the serve, and the Cougars die with the serve, and Dave Doiser has his first win.
And that is the only time I don't like rally scoring, is when a game ends on a missed serve. But Lewis came out in game 2 with a much improved offense. I like the balance, and mostly I love the speed, really getting by BYU's block.
2 extremely close games. BYU gets the first. Ryan Stunts and the Flyers secure game 2.